Each country has something specific that allows it to be known in the world. Italy for their beautiful cities, Egypt for their pyramids, and South Korea for their Osu players. In every game mode on Osu, South Korean players have showcased their skills, dominating multiple of them. Among these talented players is Motion. Formerly number 1 in the game during multiple years, this player has consistently maintained his position at the top of the leaderboard, achieving a commendable placement within the top 25 players in both Catch the Beat and Mania. He has amassed a total amount of 53,000 PP. However, behind those remarkable achievements lies a story that remains largely unknown. So let's not waste any time and embark on a journey to discover the story of Motion. Wow. Motion was born on the 8th of April 2000. His first entrance into rhythm games was in 2008, when he played the well-known Korean game O2 Jam for the first time. He then actively played this game for several years before discovering Osu, and on the 17th of January 2014, he created his account. At first, he wasn't playing Catch the Beat, but that wouldn't last very long. During the month of June, he started his Osu Catch journey and quickly improved. By the end of the year, he had already achieved a fair amount of 2,500 PP, which was top 800 at the time. But he wasn't going to stop there. Only 2 months after, he jumped by more than 600 ranks, reaching 4,000 PP. It was only a matter of time for him to get 2 digits and 5,000 PP a few months later. As you probably already know, there weren't a lot of specifics ranked at the time, so to climb the rankings it was essential to play converts, and that's what Motion did. But a way to gain more PP faster was to add DT to those maps, and Motion was probably one of the first players who succeeded to get high PP scores on converts. For example, he was the first DTFC on the insane difficulty of Can't Defeat Airman, as well as one of the first hidden DTFCs on the Crystal's Rain difficulty of Erasion, defeating Abstract and Hyper's accuracy. Yeah, I know that map isn't a convert, but the score is still really good for its time. To talk about some other convert scores, we can mention the first DTFC on Big Brother. 8 years later, there is only 5 other FCs with double time, and for a good reason. The map with DT contains some fast wiggles and jumps, which require really good catching control and very accurate movements. On the 28th of November 2015, after only 520 days since the beginning of his Catch the Beat adventure, Motion entered the top 10, collecting an amount of 9,200 PP. It may come as a surprise to some people, but since that day, he has never left the top 10, which means that he has been in the top 10 for over 2,800 days. In the months following this event, he continued to play DT a lot. His scores were getting better and better, as well as his overall skills, and in February 2016, he reached 10,000 PP, which made him the 5th player to ever reach that milestone in Osu Catch history. Like we saw previously, Motion quickly became really good at converts, but he wasn't only strong at that kind of maps. His specific skills were as good as his convert ones. And to prove it, in August 2016, he FC'd Tsuki ni Murakumo with Nightcore. And even though that map has now been FC'd multiple times to double time, Motion was the first to do it. In the meantime, he reached number 2 in the rankings, just behind Dusk, who had an incredible lead of 14,000 PP. The end of the year was coming. It was quite a normal period for everybody, but not for Motion, who FC'd the well-known wiggle map Code Crimson. At the time, the map wasn't loved, but even 7 years after his play, only 16 people managed to get a full combo on that challenging map. It's AXS time. Motion joined the second edition of AXS with players like Hyper W, Kalionet, Molkus, and Rosald. The name of their team, It Is Not CWC Team. After easily winning their matches in the round of 16 and quarterfinals, semifinals were approaching, and they were going to play against the Zero Consistency Team. But at the end of the day, It Is Not CWC Team showed everyone that they were better and beat them 7-3. This win led Zero Consistency to the losers bracket, where they had to fight against the One Miss Gods team. The match between these two teams was really close, but Zero Consistency ended up winning 8-7. They then had to face Motion's team once again. The match was once again really close, each team advancing from point to point. At the end though, it is not CTBC team showed once more that they were the best and defeated Ascend and his team 8-7. During the following months of the year, Motion wasn't playing a lot since he was more focused on O2 Jam. However, he did manage to get some impressive scores, such as a Hard Rock FC on Scarlet Rose. You will see it again in the video, but Motion will never lose his love nor his skill on O2 Jam. He will come back to it many times, showing the special place he gives to this game in his heart. After this break, he eventually came back to the game in August. It wasn't a matter of time for him to get his skill back. Indeed, in less than 1 month, he was able to gain more than 1,400 PP, getting a full combo on multiple iconic maps and achieving the first place in the rankings for the first time of his career. To linger a little on the scores done during this period, we can notably cite a hidden Double Time FC on Adolescence, a Nightcore FC on Akatsuki no Tsuki, a Nightcore FC on Xeno, or even a Hard Rock SS on the newly ranked map Image Material. All of this done, 15,000 PP was now a milestone accomplished, and the only player who was still above him was Dusk. Motion was certain to snipe him sooner or later though, since Dusk was inactive at the time, and only a few hours after reaching number 2, Dusk was dethroned, and a new legend was born. In the months following those scores, Motion continued to farm from time to time, but he slowly started playing less and less. By early 2018, he was completely gone from the game. But we're not in this period yet. Motion reached 16,000 PP on the 29th of September 2017, with the help of scores such as a Double Time FC on Piranha, a Hard Rock FC on Evanescent, a hidden Double Time FC on Redo, and a Double Time FC on Vajiranta, which was worth 1,000 PP at the time. The new year was coming, and so did Motion's college entrance exams. He therefore decided to take a break in order to devote himself to his studies. During his inactivity, Squix turned number 1 on the 13th of April 2018. On the 6th of July 2018, Motion tweeted this, and then this. The weeks passed and it was clear that Motion was going to return at one time or another. On the 4th of August 2018, the players would see a name online that they haven't seen in a while. It was Motion. From the moment he reconnected, he began to achieve insane scores as he used to do in the past. But as you may guess, a lot of farm maps had been ranked during his inactivity, which led to a lot of people to snipe him in the rankings. And you know what? Let's play a little game together. He was rank 6 on the 10th of August 2018. In your opinion, and if you had to guess, how much time did it take to get back to his first position? 6 days. It took him less than a week to gain 1,100 PP and snipe Squix, and he was ready more than ever to keep his lead. He was going to be unstoppable. After reaching milestones nobody had ever done in the past, Motion wasn't going to stop there. We're now in May 2019, and the 20,000 PP barrier is going to be reached sooner or later. On the 7th of May, Motion FC'd the Nelly's Overdose difficulty of the recently ranked coolest with Hidden and Double Time, getting very close to 20,000 PP. Shortly after that, history was written. Now that he was done with Catch the Beat, Motion wanted to grind Mania. As an O2 Jam player, he already had all the basics required to get PP very quickly, and that's how 1 month later, he achieved 10,000 PP in this game mode as well. If you followed the story until now, you probably noticed that Motion usually pops off a lot in August, and this year wasn't going to be an exception. On the 16th of August, while streaming, he managed to miss only 3 times on Ice Angel, sped up by 1.5, and although the map at its normal speed rate isn't too hard to FC, and actually has multiple FCs on it, the speed at which Motion played it was as if he had double time applied. So yeah, I don't think many players could get such a score even to this day. And talking about DT, I don't think I have to remind you that Motion, since the beginning, was a really good player with DT. But as surprising as it may seem, he was playing with a monitor whose refresh rate was 60 Hz. And you know what would be crazy? To add 100 Hz to that. On the 22nd of August 2019, Motion received a brand new monitor with a refresh rate of 165 Hz, and from the moment he turned it on, he was already giving away a glimpse of what his maximum potential could be. A lot of the scores he set back then were really insane. Ago 8 is 14 miss, New 5 miss, Towa Yori Towa Nin 9 miss, The Pretender 2 miss, and much more. On the 28th of August 2019, he reached 21,000 PP. On the 20th of October, 2 digits and Mania. And on the 11th of November, he sniped Electro in total PP and reached the first place. But accomplishing this feat wasn't going to stop him in his grind. December 2019, Hidden Double Time Choke on Shokuja Shikabane, Hidden Double Time SS on Pluto, and then this happened. Hidden Double Time FC on Choose Me. For almost 3 years, it was the only DT FC on the map. This play is still nowadays one of the highest DT PP plays. The year of 2020 didn't start very well for Motion. The fact that his military service was approaching and that many farm maps were ranked gradually let Motion away from the game. On the 4th of February 2020, Auto Else surpassed Motion in the rankings, taking the number 1 spot. For a few more months, he no longer felt the urge to play the game. Until April. Illness Lilin is a very well-known farm map, and Motion FC'd both of the last 2 difficulties as well as the Haremu difficulty with Hard Rock in the span of 10 minutes. But come on, would Motion only FC these maps with no mod? Well no, of course, since he FC'd both difficulties with Hard Rock 1 week later, and was thus able to reach the colossal sum of 24,000 PP. Once again, Motion was back at the top of the leaderboard. Motion's military service was going to start on the 27th of July 2020. The final countdown had just begun. And what better way to start this last period than bringing the DT mod out once again? Beneath the Mask, FC'd. Sorcerer's Diff on Carry Me Away, FC'd. Lonely Go, FC'd. Nelly's Diff on Embryo, FC'd. Xeno, FC'd with only 1 droplet miss. On the 16th of May, as announced previously, a PP rebalance was released to fix the old system, which was kinda broken. Motion lost 6,200 PP, but was still first in the rankings. However, his DT grind wasn't over yet, and 1 month after, he FC'd the last difficulty of the convert set of Pluto with Hidden Double Time. But sadly for him, time ran out, and he had to serve his country. On the 27th of July, Motion was gone, temporarily. By the way, probably a few people know, but he played his last match 1 day before going to the army. This match being the grand finals of the Osu Catch Mystery Tournament. Motion, alongside OYG, Spectator, and Rocma, were facing Kareem, Arma, Dusk, and Crystal. Even if Motion's team was able to get some points, Lazy Penguin won the match and therefore the tournament. On the 4th of December, Auto Else regained the first spot on the PP rankings. 18th of November 2021. Motion's username appeared for the first time in ages among the list of people logged into the game, and after a few sessions he had already de-rusted and was ready to set insane scores again. Shortly after, he reached 19,000 PP, as well as the number 5 spot. 1 day later, he FC'd 89's Momentum with Hidden and Double Time, and with a few more scores, Motion was back in the top 3. But something had changed during his inactivity. Yes Might Darkness had got number 1 in April 2021 and had unique and insane scores. Because of that, reaching number 1 all of a sudden became really hard. For Motion himself, he had reached his peak in 2019, so only 2 months after returning from the army, Motion had lost interest in the game. Through a twit longer, he explained himself about his retirement. In May, Arma helped Motion to get back into the game without thinking about competition, but just having fun. And it worked! Since then, Motion played DT again, delivering surreal plays as he is used to. And since then, he was unstoppable. Once he achieved 22,000 PP and the rank 2 in Catch the Beat, Motion could return to another activity he liked to do in the past. Remember a few years ago he farmed in other game modes, especially Mania, and was thus able to get the first place in the total PP ranking? Well, guess what? This story needs an update. On the 1st of May 2023, the grind had officially begun. In only a few plays, he went from rank 321 to 181, but that clearly wasn't enough for him. 1 day later, he reached 49,000 total PP. Let's check the day after, and he was then 2 digits in Mania, with a remarkable amount of 50,000 total PP. Now you might think that he deserved to rest a bit after reaching such a milestone. He was 2 digits in 2 different game modes, and he was probably going to be first in total PP for a long time. Well, think again. Motion didn't see it in that way at all, because the day after, he was top 50. His Mania arc became over once he reached the rank 25, as well as 22,000 PP in this game mode a few days later. Motion is now fully on Catch the Beat, reaching 23,000 PP for the second time on the 22nd of July 2023. And I think everyone would agree that he is at his absolute peak right now.
This dude is ranked 2 in the world? This dude is ranked 27 in Mania 2?
He is not only one of the best double time and speed players this game mode has ever seen, he also masters many other skills and mods. The story of Motion is the story of someone who embarked into a journey of rhythm games. Despite facing multiple obstacles, Motion's dedication remained evident. He was the first to break a lot of milestones. The story of Motion is the story of someone who never gave up to achieve his goals and dreams. As a top 10 player for no less than 2,800 days, it is clear that the story of Motion is the story of one of the best players this game has ever seen.